This is Let's Talk Business with your hosts, Marc Ebinger and Howie Nestel. Now, here's Mark.
Welcome to Let's Talk Business, a show that highlights and promotes entrepreneurs to learn more about their vision, goals, and marketing strategy. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk about creating storyline content for businesses. We're also going to talk about hosting business events that create excellent marketing opportunities. In studio with us today is Jeff Goldblatt, an expert at content marketing and the managing member of Jeff's Journeys. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
And you dressed up, too, so you look slick.
I wasn't sure what Howie was going to be wearing, so wanted to dress up.
Button-up shirt and flip-flops.
That's but then I also try to guess what Mark's going to be wearing. I try to dress.
Usually a polo. Yeah.
I'm not. You guys don't trade notes ahead of time?
We don't.
Do not.
Send selfies before we head out. That's good.
You are wearing both blue, so you're matching.
This is going to be a fun show. Also in studio with us today is Gilberto Valdes, also known as the Gild-Master.
Well, boom. That's me.
Gilbert is an expert event planner and the owner of the Gild. No U in the Gild. How do you say it?
The Gild.
Without the U.
Without the because you're not in it yet.
Because you're not in it. All right, gotcha. Gilbert, welcome to the show, man. Excited to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
You got an easy personality. I think I'm going to enjoy you. I don't know about Jeff yet, but we'll figure that out.
Should we tell everyone that I know you guys ahead of time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, why not? Because they're going to think, God, Mark's being really rude. No, it's just because I know Jeff a little bit.
Jokes, and I'm just awkwardly sitting out of them like, haha,
nah, you'll fit in.
I was there too.
Yeah.
We'll have to get into your outfit there because I want to understand that as well. So those of you watching on video, he's got a cool outfit on.
Well, thanks.
It's a utilitarian, right? It's got some utility aspects to it.
I love my pockets. They store all sorts of things.
We'll leave that for later. I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Krukus Virtual Staffing, a company that specializes in hiring virtual assistants from outside the United States.
And I'm Howie Nestel. I own Sharkmatic Advertising. That's what I do to make a living, Mark. But what I do to make a life is I give back to community. So I do a lot of philanthropy. I always say if I didn't have to work for a living, all I would do would be philanthropy.
Yeah, and Jeff here captures a lot of that on video.
He's on retainer, man. He's on retainer with Sharkmatic Advertising. As a matter of fact, I owe him a check. It's downstairs.
Oh, that's why he's here today. He's like, "Loan me
Yeah,
my check."
exactly. You got to
get
go.
paid. All right. So a quick reminder to follow the Let's Talk Business podcast on all the major podcast platforms and social media where you can catch video versions of the show as well. You can get to everything easily by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. Now, if you're going to be in the San Antonio area on May 16th, be sure to join us at the next Let's Talk Business Mega Mixer. Now, we had to call it Mega Mixer. Why, Howie?
Because the first one was supposed to be limited to 100 guests. And what happened? We sold more than 100 tickets. We sold 179 tickets. So very successful. The money goes to nonprofits. This coming up May 16th, the money will be donated to Discovery Camps, a camp for kids battling cancer. So $10 gets you in the door, but there's food, there's margaritas, Mark's favorite drink, and there's networking and business being done. So now it's a mega mixer because we'll probably have 150 to 200 people attending it.
Do you have an event planner? Because Gil's in the business.
Right here.
Funny you should say that. We are going to talk about that. We have an event planner, and Mark and I already talked about connecting her to Gilberto.
Oh,
so that they can
Gotcha.
chat.
It's all about networking, man.
my boy
It's
right
all,
there.
it's all about collaboration.
10%.
Yeah, dude. No, me and Jeff, we're gonna go far.
All
You know
about
what? If I got 10% of all the connections I made here, I might be able to buy like a movie ticket or something. I don't know.
if you had
They're
$1
getting
for every
expensive.
connection.
All right,
Well, no,
so
you get it back. You get it back.
oh my gosh, look, you pay $10 right to get in, and you get $25 worth of margaritas or other drinks. It's like you get your money back immediately.
Uber's going to cost you $25 though, so I just canceled out your $25.
Yeah, and then
and the food,
$2,500 in lawyer fees when you get pulled
No,
over.
I said
No,
you
if
call
you don't-
Uber.
if
for
you don't
20
take Uber.
No, you take Uber. You be responsible,
Yes.
Howard.
They're not that big of drinks. Jim. Actually, our cups were way too big last time. They were like 16-ounce cups, and they're like, hey, Mark came up here, and now we're out of liquor. What happened?
Yeah,
So,
Hey, look.
we're going down
that
to...
would be for an event planner. Do we go with 8-ounce cups, 6-ounce cups, 10-ounce cups?
Don't tell me 4-ounce cups.
No,
I don't want to hear that.
Tasters?
Yeah.
Hell no, come on.
It's gone.
The people are paying good money for that. I mean, it's unlimited, right?
It's unlimited.
No, there's 2 tickets. Is
Oh,
all
you only get 2
That's
tickets?
right, baby. 2.
Bring a
32-ounce big
flask.
gulps.
Bring a flask.
Yeah.
Bring a flask. I brought my own. You can't come in here with a 32-ounce Yeti. What's wrong with you? All right, so Look, May 16th, 2024, this mixer is a serious mixer. It's where you're going to make connections. It's where you're going to have a good time. And it's going to be where you can hang out with the podcast crew and do some business with us as well.
Does that include Kirby?
Yep, Kirby will be there as well.
I'm not coming then. So
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I'm definitely coming if Kirby's
Yeah,
there.
he's
so.
expecting you. We were talking a lot about you in the last show. So
He's
you
a
probably
very good man.
Everybody says that their mixer is where people do business, but how do we prove to the audience that people really did do business from having come out to the last mixer? I talked to at least a dozen people that connected and got clients that very night. And I think it's because of the quality of the attendees. How many interviews have you done on the Let's Talk Business podcast?
about 400.
400 interviews. Of those, what percentage would you say were people who attended the mixer, people who had been on the show that attended the mixer? More than half?
So 400 interviews, probably 250 to 300 separate guests, and I would say at least half of those. Well, we had 150 people show up. So maybe a third of them.
Yeah. So
That's not bad.
good quality business people showing up at the mixer.
And I constantly network and driving people, and I love to connect. So it's the job of the hosts there to connect people to people while we're there. Nothing worse than going to a mixer and you're a fly on the wall. Nobody's, there's no interaction. Maybe you're a little shy, but once you get going a little bit, it opens everything
Hence
up.
the
You have a good time.
margaritas.
Exactly.
That's why they're there.
See? And we slammed in margaritas, too. I'm
We
just saying.
did, yeah,
They're not
we
too
did.
powerful, but they're powerful.
No, they're
So-
good.
They're enough to break the ice.
Yeah. So head over to satalkradio.com. All the information for the event is there. Click on it, go over to Eventbrite. Buy 2 tickets, bring somebody with you, and let's have a good time while you're there. All right, so want to get into this with Jeff first, just because I think that, I can see that you're just really on the edge of your seat there about wanting to get into what it is you do.
Hold on. Let me get on the edge.
So, but give me your background.
Actually, I showered just for this
Yeah.
occasion. So
I
Howie
thought
knows
something was different.
Howie knows that if I'm home and in town, I'm usually sweats, like
Not
shaven, hat,
T-shirt,
on the phone, or the computer,
but in
not.
person.
What was the question?
So your background. So what led you to where you're at? Well, tell me what your business is first, and then give me your background.
So I like to say that I help people tell their stories better, help to make you a star in your business. I feel that so many people get out there and they don't know how to communicate what they actually do. And so potential clients then can't find the value add. You have it in your head that you know what you do and how you can be of value to people, but you cannot convey that well. And so I specialize in branding in terms of copywriting or in video production or social media content. And really just with my clients on a boutique one-on-one basis, try and help you elevate your brand so you can tell and sell your story better. My background was 25 years on air TV news. I was a main anchor here in San Antonio at Ken's 5 TV from 2012 to 2015. But most of my career, I was a national correspondent for Fox News in front of the camera. So I liken it when I'm working with people, especially on the video production side. Athletes, good ones, will eventually become good coaches. You hope. And so on my side, I'm able to see things because I've been in the firing line, behind the firing line. Been on the firing line?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Not perfect, obviously. So, and I just know what it takes. So I'm not one of those folks that likes to be in front of the camera anymore. I'd rather work with people. So with Howie, my friend here who does marketing, I do a lot of Howie's video work, but more on the production side, producing, directing. And we'll hire the crews when appropriate. So if it's a large commercial project, we'll make sure that we get the right lighting and audio and videography. If it's a one-person deal and I feel I want to do it, then I might shoot it myself. But so more of a consultant, and that was a very long answer. So for an
No, that's
elevator
good. But
pitch,
we need long answers at the beginning as to what you do and
Why?
why you do it.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
both
so
of
that's
those.
really
yeah.
good. Yeah, that'll end up on our Patreon account. People that want to know what you do and why you do it when it comes to
Yeah,
videography.
I feel it's different. In marketing so much in this day and age, people are hiring someone, and you're paying about a 20 to 30% extra tax just for them turning the lights on. And you might be brought in by the CEO or by one of the account executives, but they, largely speaking, they're going to farm you off to someone. You're not dealing with that big person anymore. But when we work together, I'm with you a lot, and I work a lot of hours.
Sounds expensive.
It can be. It depends.
At least he's honest. No, it's not. Let's have a consultation
Yeah.
and then we'll talk about
No,
it.
I mean the consultation will be the coffee's free, but it depends. I have just a range of clients and a range of prices. I don't want everything to be the same. Everyone's got a different journey, hence Jeff's journeys. And
Now I'm biased, but this is true when I say it, because I say it in front of you. I say when you're not around. Most businesses and individuals cannot tell their story as well as you can help them tell their story, and it's an art and it's a science, and most people just can't do it. And your experience shows, your direction shows. We've gotten people that have been on TV or on camera before, who the minute you turn that switch on, they go, they get quiet or they get nervous or whatever it is. And Jeff helps draw the lines out of them. He doesn't feed them the lines, but he draws them out of them.
sometimes we have to feed them.
Yeah,
the
but
lines.
you'll say, would you say that the reason you got into this business is because of whatever? And they say yes, and then they start talking and you're rolling. And then the final product is where the magic happens. I mean, once they're edited and all that stuff. What are some of the industries that you love working in? Because you know that normally that industry doesn't perform well on video or doesn't tell their story well because they're really good at their craft, but they're not good at telling it. And then you've had success with it.
I think in I'll ask Gil this too, but I think you have to be curious in whatever you do. And as a business owner, you have to be curious. So for me, there's no specific business that I'm not curious about. Maybe you find that too.
I was actually talking with a friend about it before, and he said, "Hey, when do you discount your product? Everyone's always asking for discounts. When do you offer discounts?" And I always say, I offer discounts when you're presenting a concept to me or bringing something to me that I've never done before. So if it's something like, hey, I need you to put together this for X amount of people in a space you've never done it before, all right, I'll give you the discount on that,
That's when I would charge more, actually.
Yeah.
So.
We don't
Yeah, I
like
can
that
see it's
word
a learning
discount.
opportunity.
Actually, I
But,
like
but what
the
I
word
was
discount.
saying is, to answer Howie's question, would be I wouldn't isolate it because it's things that I'm curious about. So right now, for example, I have a big project up in the state of Illinois, and it's multiple long videos and social media shorts and blogs and photography. And Howie knows so here we are, we're shooting this the end of February. I've probably been gone about 3 weeks plus, and then on production for that about another 2 to 3 weeks. It's consumed a lot of my time, but at the same time, other clients, a lot of dental clients I work with. That's a long story, but the short story is my father was an oral surgeon, so a lot of dental clients across the country doing a lot of dental commercials, and then other clients, for projects, one-off projects, or on monthly retainers. So there's no one specifically that I like. It's just if you have a great story, then I want to work with you because I'm curious, because that's where my background was, reporting, journalism, telling stories. Wait, did I say that before? Yeah, I did. That it
No,
was
I
on
don't
there.
remember
I
that.
forgot. Yeah, no.
Does everybody have, I know most everybody has a story, but does everybody have a great story, or can you develop a great story from almost anybody?
Sometimes we are pulling teeth more than with other people, or sometimes people think their story is much more important than it really is, or the story is from their own bias. And so with those clients, what I try and do, again, whether it's with social or whether it's video, is not what you think your most important leg of your story is, but what might be the value add to your customers. Where's the pain point for them? Like, stop trying to tell the story through your lens. Go on the customer journey. And sometimes we take that pivot with people, and then it can be a more compelling story.
You have a bit of a reputation as being
Pain in the ass?
kind of a
am I allowed to say it on this?
like a bossy
Oh my gosh,
coach that is less concerned about being nice, but you're more concerned about getting your point across and getting the client to implement the coaching tip you're giving them. Do you recognize that in yourself? Or?
Howie's from personal experience. When Howie and I will go on set, sometimes you got to see it. It's like two brothers bickering. Howie will get out there and he's schmoozing and he's like working on the art of the deal. And I'm like, come on, we got deadlines, we got times, we got this, we got that. So maybe it's getting older, but I'm less into nonsense than I used to be. I like people a lot. That's another thing that got me into journalism. And I also know two things I really like to do, helping people and telling stories. But there's a currency of time, I think, for everyone in their business. And so when I'm out there coaching people, sometimes I'm like, let's go, people.
Hey, that's why coach is a good word for it. That's
yeah,
how all
maybe.
coaches are.
I think good coaches, the best coaches I've ever had, are the ones that aren't necessarily nice and playing patty cake with me, but always tapping into me to be better. Do you have any coaches?
I've had all sorts of coaches.
Not
I played
athletic, but I'm
sports.
talking business coaches now.
I have role models. I have inspirations, but I'm a knucklehead when it comes to having a sensei. I can't lie to anyone. I am very hard-headed, and in the sense that, let's be real, mom and dad, they give you all the lessons and all the teachings you need to learn. And then I still say, no, I'm going to go mess up anyways because I need to learn it for myself.
That's the definition of entrepreneurship, I think, right? Is unite
thank
good
you.
under authority.
Yeah.
Gotta go. But the thing is, when you take enough hits, you realize that there's a smarter way to do business, and then you start settling down.
As
and
long as you're
taking
learning,
advice.
as long as you are learning.
Yeah.
I have told my kids often that the mark of someone in life is not about the setbacks, it's the comeback. And so they have that ingrained. One day one of them might have it tattooed, because I tell people that all the time. I have had plenty of professional and business setbacks, but it's the comeback. That's how it defines you. But my advice to you would be get some coaches. Like, try and absorb a little bit. Like, have a
sphere.
Yeah, a sphere of influence that you might listen to a little bit, because that's going to help you to grow and to be better.
No, that's why I said I got plenty of role models and people that I literally just like absorb all the content they have and try to, hey, can we meet and chat? Hey, can we meet and talk? Hey, do you got time for coffee? But it's hard for me to call them coaches because like every coach I've had, like in sports and stuff, was always like you said, they're very like, hey, you got to do this drill, you got to do this. And they are not very nice about anything they do. And all the people that seem to be offering me advice and lessons are very nice about it. So I hesitate to give them the word coach.
Take advice, and I tell this to my nephews, take advice from people who are where you'd like to be, not listen to anybody else. Because there's so many people that are happy to tell you what you should be doing, but they never listen to
You
themselves.
Should subcommittee we've talked about.
The You Should subcommittee. I call those people my You Should subcommittee. I used to do that in private. Thanks for making it public now. On air to 18,500 subscribers. But yeah, I call my You Should subcommittee, all the people that tell me what I should do.
But I told
obviously
you it's
don't
called
listen to-
something else. Stop shitting all over me, which is
you're right.
not S-H-I-T.
Right.
It's S-H-O-U-L-D.
Stop shitting all over me.
Like, why do people always say, you should do this, you should do that? Like, stop shitting all over me.
So you have been
like
on, you were on network news and on TV and in the news industry for 25 years. How long have you been doing Chef's Journeys?
I've been doing this now since 2016, so 8 years. When I started out, I really had no idea what the heck I was going to be doing. I had reached a change in my life where I knew I didn't want to be in TV news anymore. I saw the industry changing. That's not the point of this conversation, but I had reached that point. And
We should have that conversation.
we
sometime,
could at
though.
another point
Let's
if
get
you
some
want, but
whiskeys
we have another
going
guest.
and-
Need a
here,
full
too.
hour for that one.
And we'll go to Gilbert after.
Yeah.
I ain't invited to this conversation. What did I
No,
do?
you're next. You're next. Sit
And
tight.
I realize I realize in speaking with some people that a pain point for businesses was I can't tell my story, and video marketing really, can you help me do that? And it's too expensive. So this is about 2015 to 2016 is when I started. So I actually started out shooting my own video entirely with iPhones. I knew how to edit basically. These were bad iPhones at the time. This is like a 2016. At the time it was good, but if you go back and look at that video, it's laughable. And desktop editing with Apple. And I knew basic editing through my TV days, but I crash course on some things. And I just took off. I didn't really know what I was doing in the sense of being a businessman or being an entrepreneur. And then the more I got into it, the more people that came to me, I said to myself, wow, this might be something. And then people started to ask me for other marketing related services that I couldn't perform. But I said, you know what? I know who can do this. And let me help project manage you. And so along the way just grew. And so whether that was then developing websites, I'll project manage that. Whether it's digital marketing campaigns, I'm not actually doing the booking and the buying, but I will hire and help supervise. And so that's one way that Howie and I came in touch was I realized he had offered all these marketing services. Someone said that we should get in touch with each other, that we might have common lines of synergy. He realized that I do content, things that he does not necessarily do. They do it, but differently than we do it. Howie has offerings that I realize that I can't do, and so it's partnering up together. And instead of having a big marketing house, it's finding like-minded people. I've been able to find several people like that around San Antonio and then across the country who I've aligned with that are not necessarily part of my company, but we're also brothers and sisters in the same army. I mean, we're all helping each other and working on projects together.
Yeah, strategic alliances. Mark,
Yes,
and I
that's
like
a
to talk
strategic
about that.
partners,
Yeah, absolutely.
right. Yes.
So here we are in 2023. In the previous show that we were not a part of, Mark and Nikki Deely were talking about artificial intelligence. So here we are in 23. What differentiates you from artificial intelligence? Because you can type in something and get a story out of AI.
Right. I saw a video the other day. It was on YouTube. It was of Will Smith. It's going around right now, and how AI video punched in a year ago, how crude it looked, how raw, how basic, and then the advancements to today. On one hand, it was really cool because it had made so much progress to the point it was very real. On the other hand, it was somewhat intimidating because I'm saying to myself, wow, if they can do these kind of things, where do I stand in about 5 years? But I think at the end of the day, on the marketing side or whatever business we are in, artificial intelligence can't replace us outright because the customers that I deal with, many of them haven't even been in video before. They've never done anything like this. And so you can't create something that doesn't exist from a computer.
Right. I agree with you.
Right?
The other thing is that there's a human element. Your clients, my clients, Gilbert's clients, and Mark's clients are not going to go necessarily and interact with artificial intelligence because they already do something else for a living. They might be dentists, they might be doctors, they might be engineers, and they need an event put on. They might need story told. But if they're going to be on camera, they want a human being coaching them.
Yeah.
If not, why wouldn't they just get coaching from a YouTube video and then perform it? That's not going to work as well.
Or like in copywriting, and we did a project the other week, Howie and myself did. Sure, he could have typed it up in AI and seen the results. I actually did some of that and saw, and I was like, ooh, this is really cold and not personable and not customizable. You could still tell it was robotic. Now, might that change in years ahead? Sure. But right now, to me, there is a human element that's still not there. And in business, I think at the end of the day, people still want to work with people.
They
right?
do, yeah.
And so I might use a video clip. I might need a piece of stock video. Oh, I need someone on a beach and they're drinking this XYZ, like a filler piece. Sure, we could do that, but that would never jettison a whole project. We still would need to work with a client.
Yeah. Mark, you've interviewed 250 individuals. Are people reporting that that their customers are doing business with their company, or are their customers doing business with the business owner?
Yeah, so San Antonio is very relationship based. Right?
Yes.
It's very, very relationship based. So, it doesn't, doing social media marketing and lead funnels and all that, that's great. And if you've got the cheddar to do it, then go do it. But otherwise, networking and building relationships is going to get you a lot farther, at least here. Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling that as these technologies kind of continue to crowd that space a bit, people are going to actually gravitate towards personal relationships. Having a real human on the other end of the line, you know what I mean, on the phone is going to matter, or just doing personal interactions.
The video that we did, which was completely unplanned, Jeff didn't shoot it, nor would he have shot it because of how goofy we were. I brought my phone, an Android, not even an iPhone, with a microphone, clipped it here so that Mark and I can share the same microphone, and we started talking about the next mega mixer coming up. So right when the video was over, I had said, and we'll see you on May 16th. And then he goes, yeah, come on out and whatever. And then I'm walking around to turn off the camera. I go, you had to get the last word in, right? He goes, yeah, I always have it. So that stayed on. So when Eno edited it in my office, we left it in. That's what makes it human. That's what's going to make it endearing. The fact that we did that. And there's no AI that would have written that into a script.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's that human flaws and character pieces, and like Gilbert being late to the podcast today. I mean, who could have
Hey, you said
could have
1 o'clock?
predicted
I was
that?
here at 12:58, baby.
Not when you pull into the parking lot.
What does Gandalf say about wizards?
What does he say?
I arrive exactly when I need to arrive.
Rock on.
Never late, never early.
Well, Jeff, if folks want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Call Howie.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say, "Don't call me."
No, people
call my
call him
agent,
direct,
he's
and he
got
still
it.
says, just call Hal.
No,
Love it.
the email thank you is Jeff JEFF at Jeff's Journeys JOURNEYS.com.
Love it. Thanks, Jeff, for coming in. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
so much
man.
for having me. Very
Now,
grateful.
I feel like I have bad hair now. I mean, he's got like the perfect hair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
no,
I put some
this
gel in
is
it.
too
actually.
Yeah,
short.
no, he does.
Whatever,
Oh, yeah.
dude. What are you, 15?
TV hair.
When I introduce him, if we're co-hosting something, I go, and now you're more handsome co-host and experience than Jeff Goldblatt.
Oh, I've been on TV and whatever,
Hey,
dude.
that's what that experience gets him, you know?
Yeah, just
He's
so
fought
that
long
you
and
know,
hard for
Gilbert,
this.
if you watch 2 videos, one of Jeff and one of Mark, Mark is going to be the one that looks like the real human, and he'll be the one that looks like AI generated.
Yeah. And he
That's how you can-
glitches. Dude, he glitches sometimes.
I did have glitches. You saw.
You have to watch that. All right. So, Gilbert, excited to have you on the show as well.
thank you.
So, you're in the event planning business. So, give me your background. How did you end up where you're at now? Other than tell me the good stuff.
Okay. Long story short, I've been a man obsessed with partying since I was a young man. And I've done this for about 20 plus years now. It's been all I've ever known, aside from a quick 6-month stint at USAA, where I realized corporate life was not for me. So I went back into the service industry, treated it as a profession, became a sommelier, worked at all the best restaurants here in San Antonio, in Phoenix, and anywhere else I lived. And then I realized that I enjoyed partying more than I enjoyed sort of the restaurant service industry. So I took a sort of little sabbatical where I went on tour, and I went from music festival to music festival every weekend, being a part of a team that helped him put it all together. And I got to see these parties come to life on the biggest stage. And that's when I realized that, yeah, this is what I need to be doing. So I came back to San Antonio, used everything I had learned to jump into the world of management, which took all the fun out of partying and the service industry entirely. And I decided, yeah, no, this gotta go sometime. And it wasn't until honestly last year where I finally took that plunge and took that leap of faith and said, hey, I can do this. I have the skills, I have the talents, I have the resources. And I realized off my first event I ever did that it takes more than one person to do it, and I needed help. And that's where the name The Gild came from. Was I reached out to all the best chefs I knew. I reached out to the best bartenders. I reached out to everyone I knew that had a skill or talent in this industry and said, hey, what if we all came together to put on these amazing parties and to put on these amazing events? And I'll find us customers. I'll find us clientele. I can do the operations side of everything. You know, I have that management experience. But what I need is the Gild and the team. And so we came together, and it's been about 9 months now, 10 months. That we've been doing this, and we definitely hit the ground running, and we've been able to develop quite a brand for ourselves as the #1 party planners in existence.
Okay, and how did you determine your number one?
You know, my own brain, my own personal
It's my
thoughts and
belief
feedback.
system. Thank you.
Look, it's
No, I love
they
it.
call it delusional until it's real, and then it's
Right?
just the truth.
Fake it till you
You got to
make
have
it
good
first.
sense of self to be in that space, though. That guild.
So, Gilberto, most businesses and most business owners have the biggest barrier to entry is getting clients. You seem to have the opposite. You're saying that it's easy for you to go out and get the clients. It was harder for you to amass the offering, right?
Yeah. So it was one of the things that I talked about with my mom actually like a few months ago, was that I still don't really feel that I have done much as the Gild. More so, everything that we've gotten seems to have come from my reputation as to what I did before becoming a business owner. As we talked about with relationships, all my clients were people that I worked with before in the past that said, hey, I remember you did this, you did that, you were here at this place, you really impacted my life. Can I get you to do it again? And I said, yeah, now I do it for myself. So it's a better rate and I don't have any constraints holding me back.
So let's talk about the types of events that you're doing. What are you? Are you doing weddings? Are you doing?
So I have not
bar
done a wedding
mitzvahs?
yet. It still feels a little to take the honor of someone's most important day of their life, or should be, is a very like. I don't want to deal with bridezillas, if I'm being totally honest. Like, yes, I will do it if the price is right. Obviously, if you got a unique vision, if you make me curious, as you said earlier. But mainly right now, what we're really, really focusing on is engagement with customers for businesses. So one of our biggest clients was a winery out in Fredericksburg, and we handled all their wine club parties for the past, like I said, 10 months. So 3 or 4 of them almost. Moving into the new year, we've done their dinners to bring out all the winemakers and things like that. We've worked with different bars to do sort of, hey, we're launching, quote unquote, our new menu, or we're launching this new thing. So product launch parties, wine club member parties, and just different ways for businesses to sort of engage their customers.
How big are these events? How many people are showing up?
Oof. The wine club parties, thousands. The product launch parties, hundreds. I think
Per event?
Yeah.
Nice.
The
Couple
smallest thing
thousand?
that we've done is just private dinners, which I mean are cool and fun. And I love being able to allow my chefs a sort of unique place to really put their artistry on the plate. That's fun and all, but I like the big parties. So that's always the high that I'm chasing.
So when you're that big, you got to have some music out there too. And
Oh,
and
yeah,
all
we
that?
do everything. We're the Guild, baby.
All right, so break that down. What's
So-
an event of yours look like?
Oh, unimaginable to the human eye. No, so I'll go with the last
I love the
pickup party we
adjectives.
did. Is essentially we had live music. They performed from noon to 5. There were 3 different acts that all went on, all kind of following the same thing. This was in December, so it was a fun play of, goodness, what's the word called when you're singing someone else's music? Covers, Christmas music, things like that. More with a country twang because we are in Fredericksburg. The food we did for it was tamales because, let's be real, it ain't December without tamales. And then from there, of course, we highlighted the winery's wine by giving them a guided tour through the establishment, having little pit stops along the way to refresh their beverage. And with every new wine that they were tasting was a little small bite paired with it to really get the full experience. And the wine they were drinking was the same wine that they would be receiving in their package as a wine club member. So we had it fully open to the public. Of course, the wine club members didn't have to pay a dime to go through it. For the public, they had to pay like $20, $25, and it allowed us to get them more wine club members through that.
And what aspect did you do in terms of I know you did the event management, probably the brainstorming as to the walking tour and the drinking tour, whatever it is. But did you also get involved with the marketing aspect of it to bring people to like a product launch party or a menu launch party or anything like that? Or does the venue take care of bringing in their customers or their prospects?
Yeah, so that is always the tricky line, because as much as I want to walk up to people and say, hey, I'm me, let me do everything and it will be the best it can ever be, I don't have that kind of street cred yet. So there's often times where a lot of businesses will want to handle things on their own. And that's sort of when we become not the full guild, but a squad of mercenaries. So oftentimes we get people that are saying, hey, we are doing this, but we got everything under control. We just really need some good food. All right, here you got it. Hey, we're doing this. We're a restaurant, so we don't need food. We don't need bartenders. Can you help us find a musician? Here's your musician. And so to that end, I have yet to really start dabbling onto the marketing side of things and into that sort of storytelling, as you put it, in the digital sense. Our storytelling is the physical one of once you actually arrive. Of course, thanks to Genevieve and the Evolve firm, my Instagram has been able to grow to a couple thousand followers now. So I do my best to say, hey, if we're involved in it in a way that I feel comfortable with, I will advertise it on my page that it's happening.
By the way, Genevieve is not only awesome, but she's a co-host on this show as
Dude,
well.
shout outs Genevieve. She is awesome.
She is awesome. A great energy. Awesome networker.
Yeah, sharp dresser, man.
Dude,
I always
right?
feel it. Yeah,
And then unique too with a flower. I don't know which side it's on, but
on the left.
yeah,
So let's talk about your logo. So shield and sword, what's that about?
Yeah, the sword and shield. So, I'm a nerd at heart, I guess. I love the world of fantasy and anime and all sorts of different things like that. And that's a big part of where the name the Guild came from, is oftentimes you see these guilds in fantasy settings that are just like, oh, we go out and slay dragons and do all these crazy things. But I decided to make my logo a sword and shield as well, because the shield, which side is it on? There it is. That is the shield I say that protects you, whether you are a business owner coming to me saying, hey, I'm a chef, I'm a caterer, can you help my business? Hey, this shield's going to protect you. Whether you're coming to me saying, hey, we want to book an event through the Guild, can you bring it to life? This shield is going to protect the event. Especially, y'all have done these networking mixers. Everyone has gone to an event where the little details start going a little haywire, where, someone showed up late, this started falling down, this started exploding, whatever may happen, this shield will be there to protect you. And then on my actual name, you see there's a sword going through it, because that's a sword we use to carve our way into new territories. Whether it is bringing a business new clients, whether it is making this quinceañera or bar mitzvah or wedding the greatest wedding possible, we will cut a path to excellence.
Are you doing anything like in the entertainment space, like with, like movie launches or anything that's local? I know there's some creative stuff going.
There's the Corey Weaver band. Corey Weaver was voted the best vocalist in the San Antonio or Texas area last year. And with him, he's finally making original music. So this summer, we're actually putting all the details together to do a summer music fest, having him as the headliner and all the other musicians that we work with to all play part in this and do an actual music festival here in the San Antonio area.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I've yet to find a good venue space in San Antonio. So if anyone, whichever camera's on me, has an awesome venue space, reach out to
Howie
me.
Nestel's backyard.
Yeah.
I think
How many people?
Hey, look, a backyard party, we'll cram them in like sardines.
All right. I'll talk to my mayor. Make sure I invite him.
So, what events do you like to do? What's like your perfect event?
The perfect event, a fully immersive, an attack on all the senses style experience. So I love the arts. I love the wonderment. I love the just being able to look around and be like, wow. So anytime I can work with actual artists, whether it's live art, whether it's something digital, whether it's a projector on a screen, anytime we can really entice the visual component of an event, I'm a sold man. Because the taste, that's easy. Like I said, I have the best chefs. The sound, I got some of the best musicians. If not, we'll just pull up a playlist. I got some good speakers. And all the different senses are kind of already covered. So anytime I get visuals involved, anytime, there was an event I recently did where I got to work with a candle maker out in Fredericksburg that had a unique customizable scents. And that was awesome because the space really did smell. I think we went with like a leather boutique or like almost like a humidor kind of scent. That was awesome. So anytime I get to engage all the senses, I'm a happy man.
Do you like fancy or do you like grassroots kinds of events?
So fancy is my background. Honestly, I've worked at Bohannon's, worked at Clementine, worked at all the best steakhouses and all that we consider fine dining and everything. So that is something that is easy to me. But just for the sake of adventure, I love the more culturally driven things. I mentioned the backyard parties. Mm-hmm. That was really how we got our start and how we got our feet wet was someone was kind enough to say, hey, if you want to do cool stuff in my backyard, go for it. So we did listening parties for new albums. We did video game tournaments. We did card game tournaments. We did paint parties. We did all sorts of different stuff in her backyard as we kind of got accustomed to feeling each other out, playing with the senses and seeing just exactly how can we make someone think this looks cool? Here's the rough draft. Here's the rough draft. So much love to her in her backyard.
How did we get connected? How did we get you on the show? Do you remember the path?
Yeah, we met at BPSA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A mixer. That's how that worked.
Mixer.
All right, cool.
Which someone had asked earlier if your mixer was going to be somewhere where stuff happens or if it's just another fly on the wall kind of scared thing. I'm a firm believer in only boring people get bored and only, like if you're not working on a project, I don't know. When it comes to networking, like I have never gone to a mixer and felt like, well, that was a waste of my time. No, it's your life. You make the most of it.
Sometimes it just takes a little nudge for some people.
Yeah, well, I mean, you bring
or margarita.
Yeah, you
both.
You bring you with you, right? So if you're a certain way, guess what? Don't be surprised that it's not going to be any different because you're bringing yourself with you.
So what event's too small for you? What event's too small?
Go ahead.
No such thing as too small of an event. Okay. I am in the world of entrepreneurship.
If it was just you, Mark, that would be too small.
Hey, no, we got listening parties. I'll find the best headphones.
For one person?
Yeah. Doesn't this feel like a party right now?
Mm-hmm. It does.
The four
Usually
of us.
does.
Fun.
Bonded.
Mm-hmm. What was your question,
Mine was going to be, we are doing the mega mixer at Project Cowork on Moss Rock, right off of San Pedro. And that place really, I think, we've been to other events there. And I know I'm biased, but man, it really came alive when we did ours. We had a red carpet. We had photographer, videographer. We had a photo booth. We had things going on the walls. We had a lot of stuff going on, and people told us that. They said, you know, that was kind of amazing because we've been to other events. This felt really different. The event was supposed to be for 2 hours. 2 hours after it ended, there were still people there.
Yeah, hey, that's a party right there.
And that's a mixer.
Yeah.
It wasn't even supposed to be a party. It turned into a party. So
Yeah, and I'm always looking to level it up too. So I've got some cool ideas of what I want to do down the road. But I mean, I'm always open to other ideas as well.
yeah, so we actually did have a conversation. Wanted to introduce you to Samantha Guajardo, who is just got into party planning and event planning herself after going to corporate and doing other stuff. So we thought, hey, why not introduce you all? Maybe there's a collaboration. We're all about more, and synergy is better.
Absolutely.
I mean, we were talking about AI earlier, and someone had mentioned the sort of bounce back effect that it's going to have. And I think that is all too real, that it will bounce back, and that as much as AI will be there as a tool, people are going to really start saying like, oh no, I don't even want to work with that kind of stuff anymore. Like, I just want to be around people. I want to disconnect. Because especially right now, after the pandemic and everyone being locked up, oh boy, no. Yeah. Everyone's ready to see other people.
This past Saturday night, I went to go see Seinfeld perform at the Majestic, and he said something.
You had good seats, by the way.
Great seats.
How'd you get those?
I got to tell you that off air.
Oh, I figured that.
That's for the Patreon channel.
When I saw that social media photo, I'm like, hell, I got a deal for those seats.
$5 a month, join Patreon, and you'll get to hear how I got to be on the front row with Seinfeld. But he said something funny that during the pandemic,
only one thing.
He said a lot of funny things, but he said something very funny about the pandemic and about working from home. And he says, I'm married and I have kids. So I hated the pandemic because I had to stay home, do my work, and do all the other things that were expected of me by my family. So when I got the chance to go back to the office, that's where I would unwind and refresh, because at work, all I have to do is my work.
Yeah.
Whereas home, I have to do a lot of extra stuff. And that's the bounce back effect you're talking about. My staff and I at Sharkmatic hated working from home. So my team asked me if they could come back to the office. And I didn't want anybody to get COVID because I didn't know much about it. This was June 2020. So I said, okay, open up the windows. Everybody stay 6 feet away from each other. If you're going to come talk to somebody, wear a mask. And I had all these rules, right? And thank God nobody got COVID. But these are millennials that, could be in pajamas, walking their dogs, goofing off. One of them has a swimming pool. By all definitions, they should have been staying home. But you know what? June of that year, 4 months after the pandemic started, they all wanted to come back to work because they missed that. They missed that camaraderie, being, in a pit together and talking. So I think you're right. I think there'll be a bounce back, and there'll be a bounce back from AI. I like the way you put that.
Yeah, love it. All right, Gilbert, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Instagram at the Gild-TX, TheGildTX, or thegild.net, spelled the same way, TheGild.net, or Gilberto at thegild.net. Not going to give my phone number, though. It's a private line,
Yeah.
It's not a 976 number or
965. I'm not from the Valley. But hey, shout out to my Valley fam, though. They throw good parties.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Gilbert. Appreciate you coming in and talking to us about what you're doing out there. Hopefully we can see what it's all about. Maybe invite us to an event, or maybe help us with one.
Are they cool enough to make the guest list?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
For sure, I am.
Yeah. Well, where he goes, I go. So if he's invited, I'm going.
All right. As we wrap up the show, a quick reminder, check out our latest podcast and catch a video version of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. That's going to be it for this one.
Thank you.
Jeff, you're over there spying me. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm nervous now.
No.
He can't believe
he's
the
on
time
the
went by
guest
so
list.
fast.
It did.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Right on. All right. Have a great week. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, everyone.